Hey guys, want to make another video. This one in response to news reports that Ed Sheeran is saying that he hates going to award shows because they're so terrible in America. He contrasted them with award shows that are happening in Britain, where he's from. And I just wanted to comment on award shows. And his comment of why he hated going to them was because the whole room was basically rooting against him, right? Everybody is going for certain awards. If they weren't nominated for that award, they're bitter. If they're up for that award, they don't want you to win it. And so when you up there reading your speech, you just got a whole bunch of competitors just eyeing you the whole time. And I can imagine that that kind of atmosphere would be a downer. He also talked about the fact that it's a whole bunch of hangers on and entourages that are there, and it just creates this atmosphere that he didn't like. And truly, when I think about Hollywood stars and the atmosphere that Hollywood brings, I can't help but imagine that he has to be right about that, right? But when you talk about the ratings for award shows and why they've been going down since 2000. And if you think about the competitive nature of Hollywood, that hasn't really changed since it's been in existence. Hollywood has always been very competitive. Stars have always had beefs and rifts with each other. That's always been in existence. So what Ed Sheeran is describing is probably nothing that is really new. But I do think what is new and what has turned this downturn is the politicking that goes in front of the microphone. It used to be back in the day that a star would get in front of a microphone and they would talk about pet causes, and they would be causes that most people didn't care about, but the truth of the matter is they didn't hurt anything, right? So they would say, hey, man, we need to save the whales. And, you know, somebody would turn on TV and they didn't give a crap about no whales, but they would think to themselves, hey, you know what? It doesn't hurt anything. And the truth of the matter is when you dig down deeper, it's not bad to save whales. It's actually good to save the whales. It's not it doesn't hurt anybody to save the whales. And so they would be for that. But now, it has started to make a change really around 2000, which is when the rating shows took a big dip. When stars will get up there and they'll say they hate George Bush, or other stars will get up there and say something about Obama. And then after that, stars will say things about Trump. And now I hear people saying things about Biden. And I think it's something that is also affecting the NFL. The truth of the matter is that when people watch award shows, they really just want to see the stars and they want to reminisce about movies and people that they've seen on the big film, right? So they don't want to hear their views assaulted. And what we have in the media is, especially in the entertainment media, and then in the larger media, the news media, in the entertainment media, lots of shows are being created, but they almost have an agenda where they're trying to push you more and more to the left, to the cultural left, right? And they assault constantly the traditional values that most people have. And I know that's a shrinking minority, but the truth of the matter is that some people still have traditional values. Some people still think things about traditional marriage. They still think that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. I know I do. Right. On this channel, we're going to keep supporting those traditional values. And we would go beyond saying they're traditional and say they're biblical values. But when you have Hollywood constantly insulting you over and over and over, why would you turn that on? Right. So a lot of people are turning it off for that reason. The other thing is that when you take off the acting and you take out the camera and all the makeup and all that stuff, these people aren't that likable. Right. So when you look at these people, you look at somebody on camera, some of these people, because they act a part, people get fooled. I remember I've written a couple plays and I'll play a character and people will talk to you afterwards and they'll treat you like you actually are that character. It's hard for them to imagine you differently than that character. And my acting talent is nowhere near these guys in Hollywood. So I can only imagine that if you run into Arnold Schwarzenegger, he is nowhere like the Terminator, right? But some people, a lot of people, will go up to him and think he's like the characters that he's played. And I think what happens with a lot of these Hollywood stars is they become, they have this, there's a disturbance in their mind. There's a big tension between characters that they've played and who they are. Because who they are may not really be much, right? They probably, in their mind, they're no different than me and you. But on the big stage, they have to be this bigger than life person. And not everybody is that in real life. And that creates this tension between them. And a lot of them, because they want to keep this attention going, right? Because for them, attention is money. And that drives their success in their career. For a lot of them, that attention is money, and what happens to them later on is they go to these wild schemes or these wild political agendas to get attention. And the media praises them, and they think the media is the people, right? They live in Hollywood, which is the far left. They get reported on by the media, which is leftist. And what they do is, because they constantly need this praise and this adoration, this attention, they keep going further and further and further to the left, not realizing that it isolates them from the common man. But they don't really see the common man. They have entourages, they have directors, they got people who are their publicists, and that's all they see. But they don't necessarily go to Kansas or Wisconsin or mid-state Illinois. They go to Chicago, they go to New York, they go to Atlanta, they go to the big cities, but they don't go to a lot of the small places, the flyover country, as we might call it. So they lose the ability to connect with them. And that wasn't how it always was in Hollywood. So I think that is what is causing the downturn in the awards ceremonies. But hey, if you are one who continues to watch those, tell me why. If you have another reason as to why those award shows are getting less and less popular, let me know in the comments below. Thank you.